forecast.
They'll expect a wet Monday with showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. Rain could be heavy at times, 78. Scattered thunderstorms continue tonight, low near 70. More showers and thunderstorms ahead for tomorrow. Some of the storms tomorrow could be strong to severe, high 82. Wednesday, sunny, lower humidity, cooler, high 72. We're True to Weather, get the Weather Channel.
You're up to date with the latest weather forecast right here on the ESPN Radio Network.
This is Mike Golick for the best in local sports talk and play-by-play. It's SEMO ESPN.
This is a proud presentation of Mississippi River Radio Sports, the sports authority.
Live in the studio.
It's time for the Red Hawks Coaches Show. Live from Wings, etc. Hear the Coaches Show each week on SEMO ESPN 1220 and 1470. And also at SEMOESPN.com and the SEMO ESPN app. Also, watch the Red Hawks Coaches Show webcast live at SEMOESPN.com. Now, let's go live to Wings, etc. For the Red Hawks Coaches Show.
Welcome in, Red Hawks Coaches Show from Wings Etc. Restaurant. We are in Cape Girardeau. A drizzly kind of day, but it's nice and dry and festive in here. We've got sports on all the flat screen, high definition television. So stop on in if you're interested in that big Cardinals Brewers showdown tonight. You can watch it in high def right here at Wings Etc., where they've got food and drink specials throughout the week. And, of course, on Mondays, that means they're award-winning jumbo wings are just 69 cents. So if you're already here and listening to the Coaches Show or you're on your way in, special price on the wings. And, of course, at Wings Etc., just because it says wings on the sign outside doesn't mean that their menu is not chocked full of options. They have freshly made burgers, and they have a lot of selections on their burger menu. They have wraps, subs, quesadillas, entree salads, smoked ribs, and much more. And that appetizer lineup includes their ultimate nachos and their deep-fried pickle spears. It's Wings Etc., good food, great times, and we are in the Cape Girardeau location. A programming note, we will be in Jackson next Monday, so make plans to join us over in Jackson. And the Jackson football team might be talking about another big win. They're off to a 4-0 start, and we will be in the home of the Indians in Jackson, Missouri on Saturday. On this show, now this is the bye week, and if you follow football very closely around Southeast Missouri State, you know on the bye week, Coach Tuke gets out. It's his one chance during the season to really get out and do some recruiting. So Coach Tuke is recruiting today, and we are joined by the Red Hawks defensive coordinator, Bryce Saya, the Ohio Valley Conference's leading tackler. Zach Hall, linebacker for the Red Hawks, is here, and we're going to be talking it over with him. And let's welcome in defensive coordinator Bryce Saya. Kind of wet out there.
It is. Thank you. Good to be here.
And you almost didn't make it on time, not for anything that you did wrong.
Got jammed up. Rosengarten got cut off by a semi, so I had to go run him down, have him move it so I could get here on time. I know the show would go on without me, okay?
No, we would cancel it. And anybody that has seen Rosengarten, there's this tiny little driveway that heads down to a little parking area near the entrance of Rosengarten and your football offices. And, I mean, it is narrow. I mean, you could probably park a Ford Focus there and you couldn't get by. I mean, it's kind of tough to navigate. It's really fun to see those big buses back up down there on a departure day for a football road trip. But if a semi's there, I mean, you're out of luck. You got to grab a bicycle or get somebody else's keys, right?
We talk about when you stop the run, you want it cloudy with nowhere to go. And trust me, it was cloudy.
So good to hear that Coach Bryce Saya was able to make it here. It is a bye week, and, of course, a bye week, Coach, does not mean an off week. You're off the playing field in terms of actual NCAA competition, but you guys are still working hard. What differs on a bye week than on a game week?
Well, we'll lift and run all week, and then we'll be on the field 2 days this week, Wednesday and Thursday. So it's part of being a student athlete. The kids are still in classes, they're still lifting and running, and even though we don't play Saturday, we still will be practicing a couple days this week.
Well, let's recap the game at Eastern Kentucky. The Colonels win it by a count of 23-14, and we'll get into certain parts of the game, how well your defense played in that game. But first of all, if you follow football, I mean, it is almost impossible to overcome 5 turnovers. You were still in position there after the 4th turnover. You get the ball back. You're down 6. If you could go down, stick it in the end zone, kick the extra point, you may have won that football game. But that 5th turnover really kind of dimmed your hopes of winning the football game. But 5 turnovers, that's almost impossible for any team to overcome.
Well, that's obviously the negative of it. We went into that game being one of the best in the country in our turnover ratio, and it is hard to overcome. The negatives is the 5 turnovers. The positives is how are you still in the game,
Right. Your defense is one reason you were still in the game.
Right, and that's why I'm optimistic about the next 2 months of this season because, a couple weeks ago it was the offense carrying the program, and now the defense stepped up and gave us a shot to win the game. So if we could ever get on the same page, which I do believe that's going to happen, look out.
Now, they scored their first touchdown in the second quarter on an L.J. Scott run from 2 yards out. Now, he set up that touchdown with a 46-yard run, and that really, I know that the fake field goal is probably statistically going to be charged against the defense, but that's kind of a tricky deal. It really shouldn't be charged against the defense. They fake a field goal, end up throwing a touchdown pass in there. Realistically, your defense gave up 1 touchdown Saturday.
Well, and it's in the week previous, Eastern Kentucky went up and down the field on Bowling Green. So the last time I was on the show, we talked about some of the players that we lost defensively that went on to the NFL. And like I told you earlier, I was hoping that wouldn't show itself. It did the first 3 weeks of the season. I feel like we're hitting our stride just in time as OVC play starts. And I'm hoping that that's a preview of what's to come in the next couple months of OVC play defensively.
Yeah, this is a team that came in just running up and down the field on everybody. They were averaging 311 rushing yards, and they were pounding and putting the ball in the end zone, rushing the ball as well. They get 259, but realistically, offensively, you hold them to just field goals, 3 field goals, and 1 offensive touchdown. They get the fake field goal for the other touchdown. And when you needed to make stops in big spots, you made stops. You made stops when you needed to get off the field on 3rd down. They were only 5 of 18 on 3rd down.
And they have been one of the best in the country so far this year on 3rd down. Because a lot of them was in 3rd and short. And what you do on 1st and 2nd down will prove itself on 3rd down as far as the success you have. 258 rushing yards is obviously still too many, but they rushed it almost 60 times. So what we looked at is they were averaging almost 6 yards a carry going into the game,
right,
which is really good.
I think they had 6 guys averaging 5 yards a carry or more.
And they played Marshall and Bowling Green. That wasn't even an FCS play. Like they've had a tough schedule, and for us to hold them 4.5, our goal as a defense to be in somewhere in the 3s. So we're still not there yet, but we held them lower than they've been all year. So that was a positive note.
And here's one thing I do want to ask you, though, and I think Eastern Kentucky, they're certainly solid in a lot of aspects of their game, but in 2018 in college football, can they really be ultimately successful and not be able to throw the football?
Eventually, that's going to catch up.
I think so, too.
If we wouldn't have, obviously the turnovers, if we wouldn't have had that, it would have caught up to them because we did win the critical situations like you brought up, the 3rd and a foot, 4th and a foot, the red zone, making them kick field goals. We did win those situations. So I do believe it will catch up with them. They only had overall 322 yards, I think. In Division I football, if you're holding someone anywhere around 300 yards, that's a good day defensively. Now, they did it all on the ground almost, which, we got to get – we can't give up that kind of rushing yardage. But overall, I do believe they're going to have to throw the ball at some point.
And you hold them to 5 of 13 throwing the football.
Right. It was, like I said, we got off to a slow start defensively. We were inconsistent. It looked like we lost 4 starters out of the front 7 and 3 starters out of the back 4, secondary-wise. It looked like it the first 3 weeks, but it feels like we've identified who we are. We've identified the two deep at the right time, because it's all about OVC play.
And your leading tackler in the game, Zach Hall. We'll certainly talk much more about him coming up. Justin Swift and Omardrick Douglas, coach, double-digit tackle totals in this game. Swift with 10, Douglas with 10 as well. And Douglas in particular was all over the place.
Well, they showed up, and it's like at a good time. Like I said, we're in OVC play now. This is what everyone's gunning for, and I think it's wide open. Like, this is a wide open conference this year, so we needed guys to step up, and they stepped up. They're replacing some great players off the edge, and we kept challenging them and waiting for it, and them along with Zach, I mean, they showed up. They did it. They had a great game.
And as far as your offense goes in the football game, you get a rushing touchdown from freshman Zion Custis. Now, that came in the fourth quarter after the injury to Marquez Terry, and I know that we can't get too much into injuries, but at least the way that we hear it, the fear is that it is not a long-term diagnosis with Terry.
He'll be fine. He'll be back. We're on a bye week, which times up good.
Isn't that a perfect time to get your bye week?
Right. I wish we wouldn't talk about him being hurt, but it is a good time. He'll be back versus Tennessee Tech.
It took me a while too. You can see, how high up that stupid press box is. So I always have my binoculars, especially when I go to that place. I mean, you got to have your binoculars to be able to read numbers sometimes. And it took me a while to identify him on the sideline to see if he had gone to the locker room or if he had his pads off or anything. He was still in full uniform, and he was still in the sideline huddles when the team would come over. And I saw him kind of limp, when he was walking back to the sideline after huddling during timeouts. So we saw that he was out there, and it led you to believe that he had not gone to the locker room. We didn't see an air cast. We didn't see crutches, anything like that. So it kind of led you to believe that, hey, maybe it's just not going to be something that is going to impact his season, which is good.
And that tells you what kind of kid he is. He's still engaged. He knew he was done for the day, but he's still in the huddles. He's still, encouraging his teammates, still locked in. That tells you how good of a not just a good player, how good of a kid he is.
Let's ask you about Zion Custis, because there's a guy that saw his first playing time as a Red Hawk. They get down on the goal line. You run some Wildcat, which is what you've done with Marquez Terry down near the goal line. Custis runs it. You have enough trust in him to run it down near the goal line. He gets into the end zone. He's not a big running back, but he is, I don't know, is he similar in size to Terry?
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
Tell us about him.
Well, I got to go against him all preseason camp, so I know how dynamic they are. He's quick. He's got good vision. He's sudden. He's hard to fit up on. He hides behind the lineman where the defenders don't even know where he's going to go. And then
so he's a patient runner. He lets his linemen do some work.
And explosive. So when he sees it, he'll go. He's going to be a special one.
I know you specialize on the defense, but you are a specialist on offenses because you're gearing up to try and game plan for certain offenses. For a guy who is young and patient to wait for blocks to materialize where he can hide behind guys, is it tougher to prepare for a guy like that, or a guy that may not be as patient and tries to make a play before the linemen get off?
No, the patient backs are the tough one, and that's where he's a true freshman, and he already has that, which is, it tells you the future the kid could have. If they let the big guys get in front of them and they'll just be patient enough to let it happen, that's really frustrating.
I want to talk about your and by the way, it's Bryce Saya. It's a bye week, so that means Coach Tuke is out on the recruiting trail today. Defensive coordinator Bryce Saya joining us here on the Red Hawks Coaches Show. I want to talk about some of the guys on your front line, Coach, because all of a sudden you're 9 deep. You're a 3-man front, but you're 9 deep, and your starters, Clarence Thornton, DeTerrion Richardson, Bryson Donnell. Talk a little bit about how those guys are holding up so far and what you have seen from your front three, not only the starters, but just from your front three, period.
Well, the three that you mentioned are playing well because of the guys that's rotating in and out with them, which is Ochoa, Reggie Miles, and Josh Price. I mean, I've coached 1A before up in the MAC, and we didn't have depth like this. So when you can just keep rolling them in and out. Like, you have to start 3 of them, right? You have to run 3 out there to start the game, get the first snap. But we look at it that we got about 9 of them that we could roll in there.
And as far as your linebackers go, I saw Omardrick Douglas did get the start on Saturday. Boy, and he kind of paid dividends for you. I mean, you give him a chance to get out there and be in the starting lineup, and he gives you a double-digit tackle performance.
Well, we can just go on practice in the games before, and he stepped in. He's made some good plays. He made some good plays last year. And we have – one thing that we have is depth, so it's competitive during the week. And whoever proves themselves in the game on Saturday and through the week in practice, who we're going to throw out there. We thought Omardrick was getting ready to have a breakout game. We throw him out there, and he was everywhere. DeMarcus Rogers played well. Swift played well. Zach, who's over here crushing some lunch with us right now.
He's crushing it.
Obviously, had all kinds of tackles. It's like I said, it feels, and I better be right, okay, but it feels like we found ourselves right in time.
I really thought, and I don't know how much you're involved in special teams, but I really thought it was a smart call by Eastern Kentucky on the fake field goal. They snuck. Normally, their punter is their holder. But they snuck in one of their 3 quarterbacks, a guy that started their first game, Austin Scott. He snuck in there as the holder, and he's the guy that ended up throwing the touchdown to their tight end. Ironically, they've thrown 3 touchdown passes this year. They've all been to the same guy, the tight end, Dan Paul. That was a perfect time. As a coach, as a football coach, that really was a perfect time to call a fake field goal, wasn't it?
They did a good job. We got to do a better job at defending it. They did a good job. They're having trouble moving it. They're having trouble scoring in the red zone. We've been holding them all day. So, they probably felt like they had to do it. And you lose Marcus Lucas the first series of the game. You brought in his backup, Octavius McClatchy, who really played great.
I was going to say
all game.
We called his name a lot. Yeah.
He played great. And it's part of college football. They called it a good time and picked on a kid that just left the game for injury, and good job by them.
And by Darius Knighton finishing with 9 tackles in the football game. He's a guy who's all over the place.
Well, we challenged the secondary. This is a game. I mean, they rushed it almost 60 times, and we knew it was coming. And that hasn't been them. You and I talked a little bit before the game. They have completely changed. And we challenged the secondary all week about tackling. You can't just be a cover guy. It's college football. You have to tackle. And for the most part, they did well.
All right. And when you talk about going into a game where you are seeing a team that acts like the old Jack Crow, Jacksonville State offenses. I mean, they just want to line up. They don't care if they can tell you, hey, we're running it over right guard right now. Good luck stopping us. That's the way that Eastern Kentucky had been going into that game, right?
And that's exactly what they were, and they tried to stick with it. And they did have some rushing yards, but like I said, when you play someone like this, I remember when Coach Tuke and I was at Toledo, we played Navy. And when that's all they do is run it every snap, you really can't look at yardage. You look at yards per carry. And they were averaging 6 yards per carry, and we were able to hold them in the 4s, which still isn't good enough, but it's good enough for a team like that. So it was and I think we won the critical situations defensively, 3rd and short, red zone, making them kick field goals for the most part. So yeah, that's who they were, and they wasn't hiding it.
I thought the 2 big plays in the football game, in my opinion, 2 of the bigger plays, obviously it was a fake field goal, and then I think it was 2nd and maybe – no, that was the L.J. Scott run when it was 2nd and 14. But you had a 3rd down. You had Alfonso Howard in there, not much of a threat to throw the ball from the quarterback position, and he converts there on a long running play. And I know you guys, because they had previously emptied the backfield and he had taken off and run, so I know you guys are saying, hey, this is likely going to be a run. Sometimes you guys just block it, and their offensive line just blocked it on that play.
And he's a dynamic player. He's basically a tailback. I know he's listed as a quarterback, but the a kid has trouble throwing it, right? We've all seen that.
We know this.
And we did get it adjusted. They came back with it. We were lined up right. The kid made a play. You know, like I said, someone that rushed it 58 or 60 times, whatever it was, to only give up 3 really long runs, you know, too bad that one came up at a critical time.
And I thought their starter, who played more snaps than Howard did, Dakota Allen, you guys contained him because he had been really, you know, tucking the ball and taking off and running, and he was not able to do that consistently against you at all.
Well, they got a stable of them. They've been back after back after back, and you know, we geared for it. Every game plan is different. You know, versus Arkansas State, you know, you had to try to stop the pass first. Versus Dayton, you know, they were kind of 50-50. Versus Southern Illinois, we knew they liked throwing the ball on first down, so that kind of controlled our game plan a little bit. Okay. Well, when we set our mind to trying to stop the run, history will tell you we're pretty good at stopping the run when we need to. And we're still not there yet, but, man, we're getting closer every single time we step on the field. And when we put our minds to trying to contain or stop the run, you know, I'm excited about it.
All right, Daniel Santa Catarina, 4 interceptions in the football game. Did throw a touchdown pass, and that went to Zach Smith, former high school teammate of the guy we're going to talk to here in a little bit, Zach Hall. When you watched film, what did you see with Daniel? And you know, I know Coach Tuke after the game said, "Hey, I have no doubts in my mind. You know, this is going to be something he's going to put in the rearview mirror, and he'll be ready to go for Tennessee Tech." Did Eastern Kentucky just make some plays on some balls? What did you see on?
Yeah, they
film?
did. Their DBs made some good plays on balls, and that's not Santa.
I think they've already got something like 8 interceptions this year. I mean, they got playmakers back there.
Yeah, they did good. They did good, and that's not Santa. We're going to win some football games this year, and it's going to be because of him. So he'll be fine.
Well, the SIU game. I mean, he took you down the field and scored the game winner.
That's why I'm excited about this team because, you know, I felt our first year here, it was the offense carrying us. And I felt the last couple years the defense has been carrying this program. Now I feel like we have the potential for both sides to carry each other. You know, when the defense isn't playing good, the offense carried us for Southern Illinois. Last week, the defense, you know, put our program in a position to win a game. I think it's back and forth, which makes of a good team. And if we're both hitting, look out. I'm excited about it. But I have not one worry at all about Santa. We're going to win some football games this year, and he's a big part of it.
And the kicking game has really taken a step forward this year. And the game plan going in, I know it was obvious in retrospect watching how you guys kicked the football off. L.J. Scott is the #1 kick returner in the league. He transferred from the University of Louisville. He was a preseason kick return All-American. So, in other words, Phil Steele said, hey, the best return man in this league plays for Eastern Kentucky, and it's L.J. Scott, and you guys consistently popped the kicks up, kicked away from him. He had no chance to hurt you at all. And the kicking game, in terms of the return game, you nullified it totally against the Colonels.
Yeah, that's good coaching. Coach Tuke and Coach Martin kind of oversee all special teams, and it's just good coaching. It's a smart thing to do. And you know, they did a great job with it. You know that player had a potential of beating us, so why even give it an option, right? We just took it off the table, ran our defense out there to just let wherever it started. You know, when you do that, you give up some yardage, but if the defense is playing well that day, that never shows up.
Defensive coordinator Bryce Saya, our guest on the Red Hawks Coaches Show, Wings, etc. in Cape. We're going to be talking with the Ohio Valley Conference's leading tackler, linebacker Zach Hall. As soon as he finishes up his lunch, he is enjoying some nice wings, etc. off their expansive menu here at the Cape location. Now, as far as the bye week going forward, we saw Marcus Lucas leave early in the football game. He got his first start, the transfer from Nevada. How banged up are you? You don't have to go into specifics, but with the bye week and everything, you feel like by the time you play Tennessee Tech, everybody pretty close?
Yeah, we'll be rolling. Everyone will be back on the field. And like you said earlier, we're kind of hitting the bye week. You know, we've knocked out 4 games, basically knocked out the first month of the season. will be in October the next time we play, and we'll be fully loaded, ready to roll.
Not playing again at home until October 13th. That is the homecoming game. You go from September 8th to October 13th without a home game. When you saw the schedule, because you put together your non-conference schedule, but the league puts together the conference schedule. 3 straight years you open conference play on the road. And then no home games from the 8th of September to October 13th. When you looked at the schedule, you said, man, that's kind of tough, right?
Tell me about it. When you look at our month of September, you go on the road to Arkansas State, on the road to Southern Illinois, on the road to Eastern Kentucky. I'm a competitor. We're all competitors, right?
Sure.
We wanted to be 4-0, 3-1, okay? You get through the month 2-2 with everything still on the table. All of our goals, everything is still on the table. And I believe we're setting in a really good spot for October and November. I believe that.
You've got to go on the road to Tennessee Tech in 2 weeks. As of now, Tech appears to be a team that may challenge for the basement in the OVC. They're struggling. They are winless, and it was a boat race down in Jacksonville, Alabama for them on Saturday. Then you've got Austin Peay for homecoming. You finally get back home. They just took it on the chin, 37-7 against UT Martin. The best team in the league the last several years, and I think they've got a 33-game unbeaten streak in conference play now. You get Jacksonville at home. Martin is a short drive. Tennessee State, you get at home. You get Eastern Illinois, who is still winless at home, and Murray State is about a 2-hour drive. The schedule sets up kind of nicely on paper. Obviously, the Big Bad Gamecocks come in here on October 20th. But if you just go and compare scores, SEMO has played Jacksonville. Now, they've won 33 conference games in a row, but no one has played, and the numbers bear this out, no one has played Jacksonville tougher and closer than SEMO the last 2 seasons.
Well, I hope we have, I obviously hope we can get a couple back-to-back wins where that will be one of the biggest games that SEMO has seen in a while, But every week is a battle, and in Division I football, no game is easy. Tennessee Tech is I know that staff. We know coaches on that staff. They're very, very good coaches. They're just kind of in year 1 of taking over the program, And we had to travel to Austin Peay. Last year that game got away from us, so we're really looking forward to homecoming, them coming to our place.
Now, as far as the way the schedule sets up, you've been in the game a long time. SEMO's schedule, and we're talking about over the course of an entire season, only 2 road trips where you leave on Friday and stay in a hotel. And that's Eastern Kentucky and Tennessee Tech. That's it, 2 hotel stays for an entire season. That's almost unheard of.
Besides of all the road games and it being a tough September, I'll take it, right? I wish every game was
everything's.
home.
I mean, it's less than an hour to SIU. It's 2 hours to Martin and Murray. I mean,
that's right. And we treat those like home games. We do all of our work here on Friday, get up, leave Saturday. Obviously, it's not a home game, but we try to keep everything as consistent as we can. So everything is on schedule. The kids get used to it, and it kind of favors it. I like traveling this way.
All right, tell us about the recruiting process with Zach Hall. We are about ready to have him on the show from Louisville, Kentucky. And I think Louisville's less than an hour away from Richmond, where we were on Saturday. A little bit longer than an hour from Richmond. So Louisville, Male High School, state championship winner when he was at Male High School. Comes in leading the OVC in tackles right now. He was the leading tackler for the Redhawks a season ago. Tell us about, first of all, the recruiting process. How did Zach get on your radar, and how did you feel like you had a real good shot at landing him?
Well, it's a winning program, so we like when you're trying to change a culture and you're trying to win games, it helps recruiting kids from a winning program. And, I think when Zach and Z were growing up, I don't know how much success at high school had at one point. When their senior class came through their group, they just started winning. So that was impressive. Coach Weimers, when he was here, had that area, recruited him. His film was very impressive. He came in and he's played he's played every single, and never redshirted, got in the rotation as a freshman and started ever since. And I've always believed, I think you've heard me say this before, when you talk about great inside linebackers or great tailbacks, you either got to feel for it or you don't. And Zach has it. He has a knack and instinct for playing inside the box. He runs well enough to get sideline to sideline, and we've seen that from him in high school. And then once he got here, he's just kept right along.
What's interesting is when you watch a game, he doesn't make every tackle, obviously. He's not in on every play, but seemingly in almost every play, number 5 is either in the pile or very, very close to the pile. It is amazing. When you use the cliche nose for the football, that's number 5, right? That's Zach Hall.
Well, that's how the good ones do it. The film doesn't lie. If I just say, hey, hit the play button, the film tells the truth, and he's around. Like, I don't really want him to sit here and hear me talk this good about him because I still got to coach him tomorrow, right? But no, he's good. I mean, the film don't lie. That's the truth.
And as far as recruiting the winning programs do you keep an eye on the winning programs more so than maybe a school that may not be a big winner but does rotate through a few D1 guys every other year?
Right. So if it comes down to we have 2 scholarships left and say we got 6 kids that we really like but we only got 2 scholarships left, we'll take them from a winning program. That's just how that works.
It's that important.
It's very important. I mean, that's what we get judged on. Not close games, right? We've been close here the last 2 years, really close, shockingly close if you truly look at it.
Yes.
So that's how important it is because those are the guys that will get you over the hump.
All right, fourth quarters, winning close games, and it comes down to the fourth quarter. When Ryan Napoli was brought in here from North Dakota State for strength and conditioning, one of the thought processes was, okay, here's a guy not only from another winning program, a championship program in North Dakota State, but the thought process was we have got to improve our conditioning. We have to get stronger. We have to be physically fit enough to win fourth quarters. What are you seeing from your defense in the fourth quarter through 4 football games?
Well, I see it happening. Like a lot of head coaches at this level, when they take the job, the strength coach is the first hire. And Coach Tuke wasn't able to get that guy in here for 2 or 3 years, in his stay. But since Napa's got here, we're winning fourth quarters. And another thing this year defensively, 2-minute drives at the last 2 minutes of each half, that's one thing. As good as we've been the last couple years, we have not been good in those situations.
I mean, how many times last year did the team score that you're playing right before halftime?
Exactly, and we've took that off the film. We're winning those situations now, and as a program, we're winning the fourth quarter, and Knapp's done a good job. The kids have bought in, and it's showing up.
For those who don't know your background, assistant coach and defensive coordinator Bryce Saya, football is in the family. It is the family business, right?
Yes, my dad's in the Junior College Hall of Fame. He was a football coach. He coached me and Coach Tuke at Butler County Community College, but he coached all over the state of Kansas. Like I said, he was in the he is in the Hall of Fame. He's retired now in Florida, right off the beach, so he's living the life. But
where at in Florida?
Largo, Florida, right outside Tampa. He's on Indian Rocks Beach, literally. So,
I was stationed in Key West, Florida for 4 years in the Navy. And my grandmother used to own a condominium over in South Fort Myers, not far from Naples.
You got it, man.
So I know my way around
Florida. Right, yeah. So he's in Central Florida on Indian Rocks Beach. It's Largo is where it's at. Not Key Largo. It's
right,
Central.
That's
right.
Keys, sure.
Right. So he's living a life, but I was born into it. Ever since I can remember, I was in a film room. So this is like breathing to me. It's pretty easy.
So your dad coached Coach Tuke. There is zero chance Tuke is listening to this program. Zero chance. We need a good Coach Tuke story when he was a player. What can we know?
Well,
nobody's listening.
Here's the deal. So Tuke and I keep working with each other, right? Because we are college roommates. So he knows so much about me and I know so much about.
This is a way to say I can't say anything.
That's exactly right.
Right.
But action speaks louder than words. We keep hiring each other because we got to keep each other close, so none of those stories get out.
All right.
I'll leave it at that.
Give me a good Took story, though. A good, funny Took story that
Well,
might make everybody amused.
Well, I heard.
Word on the street.
The word on the street is my dad was the head coach, and he also coached linebackers. Okay. So Took got an interception in practice, went into the end zone, spiked the ball, and the injury might have came out of it. That's just the word on the street, just so you know.
So the rumor has it that Took injured himself spiking a football after intercepting a pass in practice.
Right. So you got to ask my father, first of all, like that's a penalty in college, spiking a football.
Yeah.
So why was you letting him do that? And then he spiked it so hard, he might have tweaked something coming out of it.
All right, good to know. All right, you heard it here first, the Took spike injury in junior college. We're going to hear a little bit more from Coach Saya during our final segment, but we're going to take a timeout, and we will be joined by the Ohio Valley Conference's leading tackler, Zach Hall, Red Hawk linebacker, going to join us after this from Wings, etc. in Cape, the Red Hawks Coaches Show on SEMO ESPN and SEMOESPN.com.
Make a sports bar, Wings, etc. in Cape and Jackson beg to differ. They take their sports bars.
You're up to date with the latest weather forecast right here on the ESPN Radio Network.
This is Mike Greenberg for the best in local sports talk and play-by-play. It's SEMO ESPN.
It's the Red Hawks Coaches Show from Wings Etc. Restaurant in Cape Girardeau. Welcome in. And a reminder, we will be over in Jackson next week. At the Jackson Wings location, Coach Tuke expected to be back with us. It is the bye week for the Red Hawks. No game Saturday. A week from Saturday, they travel to Tennessee Tech. So it's the 1 week of the season. During the season, Coach Tuke can actually get out there and get on the road recruiting and try to bring in some great talent, like bringing in Zach Hall, who we're going to be talking to in just a couple of minutes. Want to remind you, if you are coming for lunch at Wings, they've got their daily half-pound lunch specials, and they start at just $6.49. Think about that, less than $6.50, and you can get a daily half-pound lunch special. They have food and drink specials throughout the week. Mondays, their award-winning jumbo wings are just 69 cents. And if you want to bring the kids, and we've got a few here today, they have a terrific kids menu. They have family-friendly video games, and they are open 7 days a week here at Wings and late on the weekends because oftentimes the games run late. And don't forget, big series between the Cardinals and the Brewers at Busch Stadium tonight, 7:15. You can watch it in high def right here at Wings. Maybe you need a big performance out of one of the players on your fantasy team that may play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Pittsburgh Steelers. Monday Night Football, you can watch it in high def right here at Wings, etc. Let's welcome in the leading tackler in the Ohio Valley Conference, Zach Hall, Red Hawk linebacker. Zach, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. What did you have off the menu? You and I were talking just a couple of minutes ago. What did you get?
I got a 24 boneless barbecue.
24. Now, you're going to have to box that up and take some of it home, or?
Yeah, I'm going to have to finish the rest right after the interview.
All right. I think Coach got you to go box. So he's keeping an eye on you, though, kind of watching the diet. How much is diet a big part of what you do when you transition from high school to Division I NCAA football?
It's really big. Coming out of high school, I was 245 pounds, and I kind of came in kind of big. And over the years, I've lost that weight and tried to slim down so I can, play longer, play faster.
All right, they've got you listed at 6 feet 230. How accurate is that?
Pretty accurate. Try to stay a little bit heavier, but it's about accurate.
Can you? Is it one of those deals where you try to put weight on during the season, but because of all of the activities, sometimes you might drop some of the weight that you'd like to have?
No. Try to maintain it. That's the big part. Maintain.
Do you give me a diet that is kind of spelled out for you? I'm sure it's different with other guys who may need to keep weight off, or guys that they're trying to put weight on. Mm-hmm. But for you, give us an idea of your menu.
The night before, probably a lot of pasta, milk, cookies. Just trying to get a lot in to get ready for the next day.
So you're a milk fan.
Big milk fan.
Oh, I'm a huge milk fan. It's my go-to. Every
Always.
meal I gotta have milk. So pasta. So in other words, you want your carbs up.
Yes, sir.
All right. What else? What other things on the menu?
Oreos. Oreos are pretty good.
Oreos.
I like to take those in on Friday nights.
All right. Big question though. All right. Regular Oreos, double stuff, thin. They've got the mint flavor now. Where are we going with the Oreos?
Double stuff.
Okay.
Family pack.
Yeah, you want to have extra cream filling.
You have to.
So the thin, don't even bring me a thin, is what you're saying.
No.
Yeah, totally understand. Ohio Valley Conference's leading tackler, and by double digits, man. I mean, you had that 22 tackle game against Arkansas State, named the National Defensive Player of the Week. When you heard that you were named National Defensive Player of the Week, what kind of went through your mind?
I was surprised, but I know that I've worked for it. So, I felt like I had a pretty good game. Wish it would have went different, but I felt like I deserved it and just wanted to get back on the field.
All right. Now, I don't know how much you kept track of your stats in high school. Ever have a 22 tackle game in high school?
Never.
I mean, that's
even close.
That's pretty incredible. Not only do you have it at Division I, but you have it in a money game against an FBS team. And for those who don't know the difference between FCS and FBS at Division I, FCS has 63 scholarships and FBS has 85 scholarships. So not only to do it in a Division I game, but to do it against an FBS opponent.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that was big, but, wish it would have went different. But I felt like, played pretty hard.
All right, now, those wide receivers that they had, I know you're not as involved with the wide receivers. You've got other responsibilities. But have you ever played a team that had bigger, taller wide receivers than Arkansas State?
No, I haven't seen any that big. All the receivers were pretty big, almost bigger than me. A lot of them were actually bigger. But
it's amazing. Unless you're 6'3", you can't even get on their wide receiving roster.
That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, they were big. As far as growing up in Louisville, Kentucky, home of Muhammad Ali, have you been to like the Muhammad Ali Museum? And his home is kind of a tourist attraction too, right?
Yes, it is. I've been to the museum a couple times. I went when it first opened up. I also visited when he passed away in his funeral. I was a part of that. Actually, saw it happen. Yep, got stopped by traffic and just happened to ride by. So that was interesting. But yeah. He's big in the city. What
were some of the cool things growing up in Louisville, Kentucky? And I am pronouncing it right, Louisville.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Basketball, a lot of basketball. Derby, that's big, really big.
Kentucky Derby.
A very big event for the city.
Have you ever had a mint julep?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it doesn't even sound good. I got to be honest.
I heard they're good, but no, I haven't had one.
Not interested.
No,
all right.
Not yet.
So, also, the University of Louisville is there, and, boy, their football program's kind of been up and down, I guess. I guess they're better. They have been better the last few years than maybe when you were growing up, right?
Yeah, they were pretty good when I was growing up. So I used to keep track of them. But
did you go to many Cardinal games while you were growing up?
I went to a few growing up, but I watched most of them on TV.
All right. Growing up as a football player, what is your NFL team?
Personally, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Have you ever gone to a Cowboys game?
No, I have not.
Is that on the bucket list?
Definitely on the bucket list.
It's not looking very good. They didn't look very good yesterday.
No, not too good at all. But I'm hopeful.
All right,
to say the least.
Dak Prescott. The one thing I've noticed with the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, he'd probably like to have another playmaker or two on offense. I mean, he's got Zeke, but, boy, it doesn't seem like they've got a whole lot of playmakers.
Yeah, I feel like they need some help outside. We lost Dez, so, I feel like that's a big loss. And I feel like, other people need to step up.
So you had three guys that went to NFL camps on last year's defense. You got to play alongside Chad Meredith, Mike Ford, and Kendall Donnerson. Now, I believe Kendall is still on the Green Bay Packers practice squad. The same with Mike Ford. I don't know that Chad made the practice squad. I know he was.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think he was a casualty of cutdowns. Yeah. But what was it like as a young player playing with veterans like that and impact-type guys who are, going to NFL camps once their college career ended?
Their work ethic really stood out from others. They worked hard every day, came in, brought it, good energy at all times, and I feel like that was what brought them over the edge of other players.
Boy, and they were great pass rushers, obviously, with Kendall Donnerson and Chad Meredith. Explain to a fan who just hears linebacker and they may hear outside linebacker, inside linebacker. Tell us your responsibilities as an inside linebacker versus, say, somebody like Justin Swift who's playing on the outside.
In our defense, we all have a job, and outside linebackers really set the edge for the defense, get everything back into our D-line, who will be running the ball, or inside linebackers. And inside linebackers really are just there to stop the run, maybe help in the pass game, but primarily run stoppers.
Are you, as a football fan, watching some of these NFL games where they're starting to call these roughing the passer penalties? Like Clay Matthews now for the Green Bay Packers has been called 3 straight weeks on very controversial roughing the passer penalties. Have you seen this? What do you make of it as a defensive player? We're not seeing it really trickle down to the college game yet. I don't know if it will. I know people probably don't want to, but what do you make of it as a guy that plays linebacker, watching how it's being officiated now in the NFL?
Hopefully it doesn't trickle down to the college level, but I feel like it's pretty soft. There was some soft hits. They looked legal to me. But, yeah, I feel like they need to go back and look at that one.
Kind of chill a little bit. I think it's
Yeah.
all about using your body weight to come down on the quarterback. It seems like that's the emphasis, and everybody traces it back to that was the play that knocked Aaron Rodgers out for the season last year with the broken collarbone, the entire weight of the defender's body. So that's why they changed the rule. And Aaron Rodgers this past week came out and said, no, this is not a good rule. You need to change it back. I know we're the recipient of it as a quarterback. We need to change it back. I know there are some NFL fans that feel like we're trending towards flag football.
Yeah, that's what it's starting to look like out there.
So as a defensive player, you're gearing up for a team that you know wants to play smash mouth football in Eastern Kentucky. Do you like playing a team like that, or would you rather play a team like, say, Murray State has been the last few years, where they line up and snap it and throw it about 50 times a game?
I'd rather play the EKU-type team, more smash mouth. It takes a lot off the table, a lot less running around, keeps everything in the box.
Zach Hall, our guest, the OVC's leading tackler. Now, this is your third season. You had never had an interception as a Red Hawk until the big win over SIU over in Carbondale. What was that like? Take us through that play and your first collegiate interception.
I got a lot of help from my other inside linebacker, DeMarcus Rogers. He actually got his hands up and tipped the ball, and it was just there for me. I couldn't drop it. It was right in my hand, so.
Now, I mean, your entire locker room would have given you the business had you dropped that football, right?
No doubt. No doubt about it.
I mean, you'd have heard about it for forever.
Forever.
All right, Male High School, and it's spelled M-A-L-E, the Male Bulldogs. You win a state championship your senior season, and I think USA Today had you guys ranked number 9 in the country. What was it like winning a state championship, and how good was that team?
It was a great experience. We were pretty good. We did some 7-on-7 tournaments throughout the summer before our season started, and we won a couple of those down in Hoover, Alabama. I feel like that was big for us. We had a lot of momentum going into the season, and, you know, we just went out there and did what we were supposed to do.
All right. Do you remember the final score in the state championship game?
I think it was 41-13.
So you crushed them.
Yeah.
And who was it?
Lafayette and Lexington.
Lafayette and Lexington. So is that a team that you guys ever see on your schedule?
No, not really. We just happened to see them in the state final.
All right, so just a team from, a little bit further away. Who was your arch rival? Who was Male's arch rival in football?
Manual.
How'd you do against Manual your 4 seasons?
4-0.
4-0. All right,
Yeah.
Very, very proud of that. Now, there are girls that go to Male High School. How do you think a girl feels about going to Male High School?
That is a good question, but I feel like they love the school. They wear it with pride. They know that, it's not a big deal that they're a female going to Male. But
all right, the Male Bulldogs, and are you following them now? How are they doing?
I think they're 6-0 right now.
So
Ranked first in the state. So
does it look like maybe another state title coming here?
That's what I'm seeing. Hopefully that's the case. I'm gonna keep watching over them. And
how cool is it to have one of your high school teammates on the team, Zach Smith?
Oh, it's great. I live with him now, so we've been together for a while, so it's really cool.
The Zach and Zach attack. So, was there anybody in high school faster than Zach Smith on your team, and is there anybody on the Red Hawks faster than Zach Smith?
In high school, no, I wouldn't say so. Here, maybe Shabari Davis can give him a run for his money, or DJ Freeman, but that's about it.
Pretty fast cat.
Pretty fast.
So, in a foot race, you got no shot against Zach?
No chance.
All right.
Ever.
For the bench press, though, does he have a shot against you?
No.
All right.
No.
Just needed to check that out. Now, you are on social media. What's your Twitter handle here? Maybe we'll get a couple of people to pick you up on Twitter.
Z_Hall5.
Z_Hall5.
Yeah.
Is there a story behind wearing number 5?
I grew up watching my brother play. He wore number 5. My mom also wore number 5 when she played her sports when she was growing up.
What sports did she play?
She played volleyball.
And did you ever play any volleyball?
No.
No beach volleyball?
A little bit of beach, but no, nothing.
You know, like male volleyball, you don't see that a whole lot in the Midwest in high school, do you?
No, it's pretty fun, though, on the beach. But
no, beach volleyball, I understand. I lived in Key West, Florida, and they're out there playing beach volleyball every day of the year. Yeah. All right, so it's Z_Hall5. And congratulations on a great start so far in your junior season, and best of luck as you guys chase down an OVC title.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, that's Zach Hall, the OVC's leading tackler. We'll have one more segment back to wrap it up with Bryce Saya, the Redhawks defensive coordinator. After this, we're at Wings in Cape. It's the Coaches Show on SEMO ESPN and SEMOESPN.com. Will be back with us, and we will be over in Jackson, in the Jackson location. And defensive coordinator Bryce Saya has given his time to us today. We appreciate it, Coach. And as you get ready for this bye week, you're coming up on the bye week, so no game Saturday. And you mentioned you'll only be on the field 2 times this week. When do you start installing and preparing specifically for Tennessee Tech? Do you do anything this week, or is that going to come next week?
We're going to meet as a defense tomorrow afternoon and do some first and second down work on them as a group. All the coaches are on the road, but like I said, I'll get all the guys in the 2 deep in there, and we'll start doing some preliminary work on them tomorrow.
All right, so a little bit installing some of the stuff tomorrow. And as far as the Ohio Valley Conference is concerned, I would say as people looked around the league, maybe you follow it closely. You may not say, okay, I'm shocked that UT Martin at home could knock off Austin Peay, a team that was really, really good last year. But just the score itself, 37-7, don't you think that a lot of people had their eyebrows raised by that final score?
Yeah, they did a good job. That's a good staff. We go head-to-head with them on the field and in recruiting, so I know what they're capable of. But that score is surprising, yes.
So UT Martin was winless. They were 0-3, and, you know, they play lots of money games. I'm not sure if they played 2 this year, but they have done that in the past. I know Austin Peay kind of in the same boat. Then you've got the shootout in Charleston where Tennessee State rallied. They were down 17-0 after 1 quarter. They come back, score a late touchdown, and beat Eastern Illinois 41-40. What did you think when you saw that score?
It reminded me of our game versus Southern Illinois. You know, that's a good game if you're an offensive coordinator, but if you're a defensive coordinator, those shootouts, you don't want them.
I know you only look at one game at a time, so you were focused in on Eastern Kentucky. How much have you looked at Tennessee Tech?
Just getting started on them later today.
Yeah, well, we'll talk more about Tennessee Tech next week with Coach Tuke, but they suffered a loss at Jacksonville, 48-20, and I think that's 33 straight conference wins for Jacksonville State. I mean, you've been around football for a long time. That's a pretty impressive number, 33 straight conference victories. Their head coach, John Gross, has never lost an OVC game, never.
Good for them, man. I mean, what do you say? That's good for them and not good for the rest of the league. We all know it's going to come to an end at some point.
It will.
Hopefully, it's in Cape Girardeau here in 3 or 4 weeks.
I was going to say,
why not? Let's do it. But we got work to do before they come back to town, and it's very impressive. What do you say? I mean, they're a great program, and they're doing it.
You know, and it's also one of those scenarios where I don't think anybody on the Redhawks coaching staff is intimidated at all by Jacksonville State. I know the players haven't been. I mean, you have knocked them in the mouth the last couple of years. They lost their composure here with all their penalties last year. You know, Cam Sanders, you know, kick return isn't called back by a questionable penalty. You may have beaten Jacksonville State the last time they were here 2 years ago. So you have gone head-to-head with JSU, but I'm sure that everybody in the league went to media day and going into the season saying, hey, this is going to stop this year. This streak is over with.
And they've probably said it the last 3 years, and no one's been able to do it. But we've been knocking on their door, and they've been very complimentary to us, so they know, right? But there comes a time where being close, you know, isn't enough. So we're setting 2-2 right now. I'm looking forward to these next couple months in October, November, and we got a lot of good football and a lot of time to improve coming up.
No football game Saturday, but the trivia night will be Saturday at the Show Me Center. And if you would like to get a team of 8 together, you can get all the info. Just log on at GoSoutheast.com/trivia. That's GoSoutheast.com/trivia. I think Coach Took, many of the coaches and student athletes are going to be at the trivia event. And again, if you want more information, that is Saturday night at the Show Me Center. It's GoSoutheast.com/trivia. So, final question before we leave. What do you think of the all-white uniforms and the white helmets? You guys have gone with that look the last 2 games, SIU and Eastern Kentucky.
I like it. It's what college football is today, multiple helmets, multiple uniform combinations. So I like it.
All right.
It's all about the kids, though. If they like it, then I'm in.
That's what I was going to ask you. How do the players like it?
They really like it. I'm looking at my game plan. I know if you would have said, what do you think about us being in all red last Saturday, I probably would have said, yeah, it went great. Like, I don't even pay attention. But whatever, the kids deserve it. They work hard year round. So whatever they like, I'm with it.
It is great having you on second time. You did a great job. We appreciate it. I know you're busy. You know, at least it's not game week, so you may not have as much of your game face on a bye week than you would had we had you on game week. But we appreciate the time, and we'll see you a week from Saturday as we go to Cookeville, Tennessee. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, defensive coordinator Bryce Saya, and that is going to do it from Wings Etc. Restaurant in Cape. Don't forget, next Monday we will be at Wings over in Jackson. So thanks to Coach Saya. Thanks also to Zach Hall. We'll get you back into the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio. For a final time, so long, everybody, from Wings.